Part Y, the calm before the calling. The world began like any other day. Morning light washed across the skyline, soft, golden, gentle. Cars rolled through quiet streets. Children laughed on their way to school. Everything looked ordinary, but beneath the rhythm of life, something was shifting. A silence almost imperceptible crept through creation. It was the kind of silence that comes before a storm, sacred, heavy, waiting. In a small church on the edge of the city, an old preacher spoke of faith. His voice trembled with a truth few cared to hear. The hour will come like a thief in the night. Most in the pews glanced at their phones, distracted. Some smiled politely. Faith, once the heartbeat of humanity, had become little more than background noise. Outside, the skies glowed unnaturally bright, too bright. Airplanes shimmered as if passing through invisible currents. Birds changed direction mid-flight, confused by something unseen. A young woman sitting by her apartment window read from her worn Bible. Her lips whispered softly, a prayer, perhaps a memory. She paused, sensing something, familiar yet foreign. The air around her felt alive. Then it began. A hum, soft, angelic, resonated across the world. Not in the ears, but deep within the soul. Dogs barked. Windows vibrated. Time itself seemed to hesitate. At exactly 11:11 a.m., the world stopped breathing. Clocks froze. Phones flickered, and every screen on Earth glowed with a blinding golden light. Across continents, people stepped outside, shielding their eyes. The sun pulsed like a living heart, expanding and collapsing in slow motion. In every language, one question filled the air. What is happening? The preacher fell to his knees. Tears rolled down his wrinkled cheeks. He whispered, "It's the sound of the trumpet," and then it came. A blast not of earthly origin, a sound ancient as creation itself, a trumpet echoing through the sky, shaking mountains, rattling bones, stirring every hidden part of the soul. People screamed. Some fell in prayer, others looked up in terror, and suddenly brought light. Columns of radiant fire descended from the heavens, piercing the clouds. Bodies began to rise, vanishing into the brilliance. Mothers reached for their children, but their arms met only air. Clothes dropped to the ground like falling feathers. Phones rang in empty rooms. Cars sat motionless on freeways, their drivers gone. News anchors broke down on live television. Governments lost contact. Sirens wailed across every city. And amidst the chaos, one voice rose through the noise. The rapture has come. Above the world, something vast moved through the clouds, wings made of fire and light, stretching across the horizon. The sky turned gold, then crimson, then black. The first trumpet had sounded, and nothing on earth would ever be the same again. Part 2, the Great Awakening. Darkness swept across the earth like a living shadow. The sky turned crimson, the color of blood and fire. Where once there were cities filled with laughter, now stood chaos and ruin. Sirens screamed through empty streets. Smoke rose from highways littered with cars that would never move again. Those who remained called it the vanishing. But deep down, every soul knew the truth. They had been left behind. The preacher, the same old man who once warned of this day, now stood among the ruins of his church. The walls had collapsed, the cross broken in two. He held his Bible close to his chest and whispered, "Forgive us, Lord." Did not listen. All around the world, the same prayer echoed in 1,000 tongues. From the deserts of Egypt to the streets of New York, from the mountains of Asia to the ruins of Rome. Voices rose through the smoke, trembling with guilt and desperation. But the heavens had already opened, and the war had begun. Above the earth, the sky churned with storms not made of rain, but of light and fire. Angels, brilliant beings of gold and flame, clashed with the fallen, whose wings dripped with darkness. The atmosphere trembled with every strike, thunder rolling like drums of judgment. Lightning tore through clouds as blades of light and shadow collided. From the ground, survivors could only watch, ants beneath a cosmic war. Cameras failed, satellites burned. Science had no words for what it saw. In the chaos, the young woman, the one who had read her Bible by the window, still walked the streets, clutching that same book. Dust and ash covered her, yet her eyes burned with faith. When a fallen angel appeared before her, tall, dark, radiant with false beauty, he whispered, The Almighty has abandoned you. Join us and live forever." She took a trembling breath, then raised her Bible, whispering, "The Lord is my light and my salvation." In that moment, her body shone. A beam of pure light erupted from her hands, striking the creature and turning it into ash. Somewhere deep underground, the preacher found refuge with a small group of survivors. Candles flickered as they prayed in the dark. "Do not lose hope," he told them. "The battle above is not the end. It is the beginning of awakening." Above them, the war intensified. Heaven's legions, thousands of wings, thousands of swords, swept across the sky. Every lightning flash revealed faces of warriors, both angelic and monstrous. Every sound of thunder carried the cry of the divine. Cities trembled as pillars of fire fell from the heavens, burning away corruption. The seas turned silver beneath the storms. The world itself seemed to scream, not in pain but in rebirth. And yet in all the terror there was beauty. Rain began to fall, not acid, not ash, but rain that healed. Wounds closed. Children stopped crying. Wherever the raindrops touched, flowers began to bloom among the ruins. The preacher lifted his eyes toward the sky and shouted through the thunder, "He is still with us!" And the heavens answered, a sound louder than before, more powerful, more final. The second trumpet, mountains shook, oceans roared. But within that storm, light began to win. Angels formed a radiant circle around the earth, protecting it from the shadows. The woman knelt among the rubble, tears falling on her Bible. Her voice cracked, but her words were clear. "Your will be done, even now." Above her, the final clash raged. A storm of swords and light, a war between eternity and extinction. As dawn began to break, the darkness retreated, and for the first time since the Rapture, hope returned to the earth. Beauty 3, the dawn of hope. The sky, once burning with war, now glowed with the soft gold of dawn. Smoke still drifted over the ruined world, but beneath it, a hush had fallen. The thunder was gone. The fire had quieted. What remained was light. The woman stood on a hill of ashes, her face turned toward the horizon. Her Bible, burned and torn, still glimmered faintly with words that refused to fade. Every verse, every letter seemed alive, glowing with a warmth that no flame could destroy. In the distance, the preacher and his small band of survivors emerged from the underground. Their eyes blinked against the brightness of morning. They had survived the storm, but something greater had changed them. Fear had left. Faith had returned. Around them, the earth began to heal. Rivers that had turned black now ran clear again. The forests, once scorched, sprouted with new leaves. Animals returned from hiding, and the silence of the dead world was replaced by the soft hum of life. The preacher raised his hand to the heavens and whispered, "Behold, all things are made new." Then the ground trembled once more, not in destruction, but in rebirth. From the cracks in the soil, beams of light rose like seeds breaking through stone. The air shimmered with energy, and from the heavens the sound of 1,000 wings descended. Angels, radiant, peaceful, no longer at war, filled the skies. They carried no weapons now, only light. Their voices merged into a single melody, a hymn of renewal that stretched across the earth. The woman fell to her knees as one of them descended before her, tall, majestic, cloaked in brilliance. His eyes held both sorrow and joy, the weight of centuries and the gentleness of eternity. He spoke softly, "The war is over, but your test remains." She trembled, tears glistening in her eyes. "What must we do now?" she whispered. The angel extended his hand, and in his palm appeared a single glowing seed. "Plant this, and wherever faith still lives, let hope grow from what was lost." The woman took the seed and pressed it into the earth. At once, light rippled outward like a heartbeat. From that single point, flowers began to bloom. Not ordinary flowers, but ones that shone with pure gold light. They spread across the hills, through the ruins, across oceans. In moments, the entire planet was covered in a luminous garden, the garden of renewal. The survivors wept. They had seen hell, and now they witnessed heaven's mercy. The preacher turned to them and said, "This is not the end of the world. It's the beginning of his kingdom." Above them, the sky parted, not in thunder, but in radiance. And through the veil of clouds, a figure of light appeared, brighter than the sun. It was not a face they could fully see, only a presence they could feel. The world knelt as one. A voice, gentle yet infinite, spoke across creation. My children, I never left you. You were lost, but now you are found. The trumpet has sounded, but the door is still open. Walk in faith, and you shall never be left behind again. As the voice faded, the heavens glowed brighter, and in that light, those who believed began to rise. Not as ghosts, not as shadows, but as beings of light, free, eternal, reborn. The woman smiled through her tears as her body lifted, the pages of her Bible fluttering one last time in the wind. The preacher raised his arms toward the heavens, and for the first time since the rapture, the earth sang again. A new dawn broke across creation, not the dawn of man, but the dawn of redemption. And as the light flooded every corner of the world, one final line echoed in the sky. Behold, I am coming soon. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.